You expect me to
Welcome to
believe
the
that?
latest in AI video generation. It's terrifying, hilarious, and impressive, and often all three of these things at once. And it feels like it came out of nowhere. Before today, earlier AI-generated videos had some fairly obvious telltale signs that they weren't real. And videos like this one of AI-generated Will Smith eating spaghetti, and this one of a beer party with a random firestorm in the middle of it, probably went viral for the—
Guys, I'll say my take again, Chad, before somebody else will join my take. My take is, there's no way around something breaking. It's rather do it now than later. Okay, it's too hard to regulate things as they come out and level it out like this. It's rather something just goes really bad, really like boom once, and then things get way better.
Those reasons. These new ones generated by Sora will probably also go viral, but for a different,
it's
a much more sinister reason. Because it's getting so good, many of us won't be able to tell it's AI generated, not even when we know it is. I mean, unless you're this guy who still finds it fairly obvious. I've been following AI generated stuff for ages. I knew it would get better, but wasn't sure how much better, nor how quickly it would improve. And this new video generating technology seems to jump my expectations by a few years, because it seems to get motion right. Even really difficult motion, like walking animations, where you'd expect AI to make a few bone-breaking mistakes from time to time. But most of the time it just looks right. Even the way different body parts move and flex, the way earrings jangle about and so on. It's good enough to pass at a glance, but it's also good enough to pass a more thorough inspection. What I'd expect would confuse AI videos such as this one would be where stuff goes out of view for a while and then comes back in again. Take a look at these two people walking in the background.
Chat, what I'm more scared, chat, is finding a video where almost everything is true. You splice it, remove like 8 seconds out of like a 1 minute video, and say, instead of him going left, make him go right. And boom, that's what's more scary.
They go behind her, and then they come out again, looking the same. Somehow this video has remembered how they looked, where they were, and so on. But can it do it again? Yes. They found a way of generating entire videos at once, which apparently gets around these previous limitations with—
Guys, I'm saying, it's a 1 minute video of a guy at a corner store. You're gonna go pay for the first thing, right? And instead of you splice it, it says, remove him paying for the thing, and make him reach over the counter and go into the till. Boom. And AI does it. That's scary.
It might not always be perfect, but it's still a lot better than it has any right to be. This video, as incredible as it is, does have minor imperfections, like her earring, which appears to be a complete hoop earlier on in the video, but then it switches to more of a snail design later on, and doesn't form a perfect hoop anymore. But it really does feel like a minor nitpick to point this out when the general scene is so detailed and coherent.
Whoa, that was
this
weird.
car footage is already hinting at what the future of racing games could look like, and indeed, how their scenes could be generated. And I'm sorry, I resisted the temptation but couldn't, and just had to compare this driving footage with this clip from the video game Dirt Rally 2, because I was getting flashbacks of tumbling off that corner from the game. The similarities between these two tracks is just too creepy for it to be coincidence. Have they literally run this game's footage through the AI and changed the theme? It's ridiculous! Right, back to the video now. I had this wow, think of the possibilities moment when AI generated pictures passed a critical quality threshold. And now with these videos—
I have noticed a big flaw. Definitely bitrate for a lot of moving with a lot of particles. Look on the left here, look at that.
When AI generated pictures
really
past critical quality threshold. And now with these videos, it's doing the same thing again. What's terrifying and sad is how quickly all this will become the norm. Unless you're watching this video within the first few weeks or months after its release, the chances are all this footage will seem primitive compared to what you're used to now. But that's even more reason for me to document it as it's happening. And you should check out the playlist of me covering these AI generated advancements over the last few years, because it really has come on a long way. There is sometimes weird motion, almost like some bits of it, like the waves in the sea, are being animated at a lower frame rate than the rest of the image, but I'm not sure how much of that is the AI generation and how much of that is just limited bitrate on something as bitrate hungry as the sea. They show a bunch of fail videos too, where it does stupid stuff like to have somebody running the wrong way on a conveyor belt. This one's a bit trippy,
on a conveyor belt
appearing out of nowhere like some weird twisted magic trick. Magicians already suffered from people not taking their profession seriously, but now they're at real risk of being outdone by AI. This one's weird as well, birthing a new genre of videos where you have to watch it a second time to try and make sense of what's going on. It's almost like a dream how smoothly that chair appears out of nowhere from behind the covers. Again, magicians, you have your work cut out. And then—
what is—
there's some real uncanny valley about how the people carry on as normal while the stuff they're holding starts floating and
what is going on?
It only makes me like it more. Weird how AI sometimes imitates video game clipping problems, like this prompt of a basketball going through a hoop and then exploding. That's weird, but it's only following orders. Until. But the lighting throughout is spot on, and the flailing motion of the net is eerily convincing as well. This construction site shows a health and safety nightmare as a forklift truck bounces off a person and immediately changes direction by about 90 degrees, showing that the scenes don't always remain coherent. And then this guy's red top changes to green, and this guy suddenly splits in two. There's a real problem with scale in this image, with a bunch of giants sat next to lots of small people. So there are definitely a few things they need to iron out.
Wait, no, that's cool!
Giants sat next to lots of small people. So there are
Dude. Club to death.
There are definitely a few things they need to iron out here. And it doesn't always listen to prompts either. This one of a Dalmatian ignores the request for many people walking and cycling along the canal streets in front of the buildings, which was included in the original prompt. I mean, they probably would be visible there if the view of the scene was from further out, but it's not so there. But it is interesting that, as real as this video might look, minus some parallax issues of the dog getting around these shutters even though they're clearly sticking out too far for it to be able to do that, it doesn't mean the AI has envisioned the scene the same way as the person requesting the prompt has. It's like it has a mind of its own. This prompt asking for a chameleon showcasing its striking colour changing capabilities.
Chat. No joke, chat. Guys, it's gonna be overdone for music, but chat, for music it's kind of cool because when you think about all the music videos that people don't want to make because they take a lot of effort, just put some good high quality, high effort like AI video up for music.
Doesn't seem to change
on an album. It's kind of cool.
A weird instance where AI happens to be more realistic than real life. I don't care too much for these CGI scenes either, but I can appreciate that they're probably already approaching the point where they could fill in for child's TV shows and stuff.
Yeah,
and in a few short years, we'll probably be ready to replace all the people working on CGI in movies as well. There's a ton of AI-generated video nonsense that's headed our way, and YouTubers such as myself will be some of the first to have to compete with it, content-wise. But the joke's on them because I've had years of experience generating nonsense content. Asking a corgi to vlog itself is also ripe for problems, as it isn't quite sure how the dog is meant to hold the stick, so it just sort of pokes out from beneath its necklace thingy. What's amusing here are the low-flying and hopping seagulls whizzing past, who seem to disappear behind the rod. If you fast forward this video, then it's more obvious the selfie stick isn't attached to the dog as well. But I really have to nitpick to find problems with it, and if I saw this scene at a glance, I wouldn't immediately assume it was AI generated, even though the content may be ridiculous. This sort of technology enables some really unique camera angles, like this cat pacing through the garden. I noticed at one point it double steps with one of its front paws,
really impressive though the way that the terrain remains seamless as the camera goes forward.
It's almost good enough. And although it may occasionally forget about a limb or create a new one out of nowhere, there is still something that feels very real about these clips. Like it's captured something about our way of life, albeit in a dreamlike state for now. And it enables some truly amazing possibilities, like to re-envision moments in history, even from before the era of videos and photos. But it goes without saying that it's also very, very scary. The makers of this technology, OpenAI, talk about their safety policies, but say that there's no way to predict all of the ways in which this sort of technology can be abused. And it isn't even that. Sora could be perfectly safe and 100% accurate with its prompts and when not to generate harmful videos. It still shows us that this kind of technology is possible, and there's nothing stopping other AI systems from generating videos without the same safeguards and precautions. And it's only a matter of time before this happens. On one hand, there's always been photoshopping and faking of videos, but somehow this feels different, instant, infinite, just like this bowl of spaghetti. Link to all the videos in the description.
Harmful prompt, huh?
32 stones, Mr. Hey,
it's that magical time again where we have...
I want money. Tell me what you say.
Alright, so this is simultaneously really impressive and really frightening at the same time, and it's hitting me in ways that I didn't really expect. So do you remember Will Smith eating spaghetti?
Yeah, we said this earlier, but does he cover more of it or not?
Not everybody who sees AI-generated content on the internet knows to be looking for that.
Chat, can they not make their own?
Glance. The prompt for this AI-generated video is a young man in his 20s is sitting on a piece of a cloud in the sky reading a book. This one feels like 90% of the way there for me. Like it's beyond the uncanny valley of like Apple's personas, which are actually based on humans. This is a made-up person. I mean, his eyes are kind of weird, and the motion of the pages in the book are kind of odd. And yeah, obviously he's in a cloud, and that's a giveaway, but like the lighting and the shadows and the skin tones And then all the realism of the textures on the shirt and the way the shirt and the pants move and the hair, they're all really impressive. And then for this one, they typed in a movie trailer featuring the adventurers of the 30-year-old spaceman wearing a red wool knitted motorcycle helmet, blue sky, salt desert, cinematic style, shot on 35mm film. And the close-ups of his face, the fabrics on the helmet, the film grain through every shot, and the cinematic style, this is one of the most convincing AI-generated videos I've ever seen. Minus maybe the weird physics of that dude walking kind of in fast motion. So Sam Altman, if you follow him on Twitter, he's going...
Chat, but didn't they handpick what they're showing? Couldn't this be like one of like 3,000 that they did, and the rest all like really dog shit?
Through a whole bunch more of like people's requests and posting a bunch more generated videos. And so if you want to check out his profile, you can see those. But here's the thing about these AI generated videos now, as good as they've gotten to this point. They can and will pass as real videos to people who are not looking for AI generated videos. Now that is obviously insanely sketchy during an election year in the US and also terrifying for a bunch of other internet related reasons, but it's also perfect for stock footage. Like there are already all kinds of presentations and
I disagree. The fuck? How is the first concern the elections? Who gives a fuck? If your people is brain dead enough to believe fucking AI shit, the public is brain dead. At that point, just fucking roll a dice on who's gonna be president, dumb fuck. The
advertisements and then PowerPoints that are in need of oddly specific stock videos, and these AI generated videos are already good enough to 100% pass.
Imagine your entire country losing to a piece of code. That's just embarrassing. Then your population being so fucking brain dead, they can't look at something and come to a reasonable conclusion. Brain dead. Because that's your population. Then if the population votes on brain dead, I mean, then the result is the result. What am I tell you?
For that purpose. Like, look at this one. This one.
You act like people do research. You act like fake news isn't there. Brother, you guys are missing the point. You're missing the point. Dude, isn't the whole point is that you're supposed to do research and get the information? If people are already... The only difference between that fake news and the fake news is the one that they can control, and the one that's less controllable.
With the waves at Big Sur.
The only difference between this fake news and the other one is the one is the illusion of control. That's the only reason.
Shot.
No?
Honestly, if I saw this on Twitter, I wouldn't even think twice. I'd be like, oh, nice drone shot, dude. Wouldn't even think about AI if I wasn't pixel peeping at like the way the water was moving. Like this is a totally usable video in an ad for some California-based product. And that has all sorts of implications for the drone pilot that no longer needs to be hired, for all the photographers and videographers whose footage no longer needs to be licensed to show up in that ad that's being made. It's already that good. There's other stuff like this wall of TVs, which would be a totally expensive and difficult thing to shoot with a camera and all of these old expensive props. But if you can just generate it this well with reflections and the environment and everything else around it, I mean, why do it any other way? It's also very capable of historical themed footage. So this is supposed to be California during the gold rush. It's AI generated, but it could totally pass for the opening scene in an old Western with the right music over it. How long until an entire ad, every single shot is completely generated with AI? Or what about an entire YouTube video? Or an entire movie? I'm tempted to say like we're a long way away from that because, you know, this still has flaws clearly and there's no sound and there's a long way to go with the prompt engineering to iron these things out. But then again, the spaghetti was like a year ago. Now, actually, like that OpenAI on their website, they show some of the downfalls of this particular model. And because who would know better than the people who have been using it? This is a very private tool, by the way, right now. It's in super limited access, so it's in the hands of red teamers, which basically means people testing it, pushing the limits, trying to break it, and a few trusted creators. But they have found plenty of weird edge stuff. Like this clip here of a bunch of gray wolf pups. Looks normal at first, but then it's pretty clear that something's kind of off with the way they're just kind of...
Chat, how much do you have to give them, chat, for me to get access? Like 5 mil?
appearing out of nowhere and walking through each other. That's kind of weird. Or this clip of a guy running on a treadmill, which, I mean, I don't really have to say much more about why this one's weird, but this is my favorite one. Again, just try to put yourself in the mind of someone who's not expecting AI. You're just scrolling through Facebook or Twitter or something, right? So you just see this video. So first, I just want you to watch this clip as if it's just a stock video you found of a grandma celebrating her birthday, and just try to think like, I wonder what birthday she's celebrating, right? I don't know. How old do you think she is? 60, 65? Maybe it's the big 7-0. She seems to really like that cake. Now, did you see it? Did you catch that?
Double.
I'm gonna play it again, but this time watch the video knowing that AI generated photos and videos have trouble accurately doing hands.
Double candle.
I'll play it again. And now it feels super obvious. Like every time you watch it, watch a different set of hands. It gets weirder and weirder. You can watch it like 5 times and there's dead giveaway after dead giveaway. Not even mentioning the weird inconsistencies with the direction of the wind on the candles. But even as I'm saying all that, even as it's coming out of my mouth, I can't help but remember that 12 months ago we were critiquing this. So what does this all mean? Well, I mean, there's what it means now and there's what it means for the future. Now, Sora, this thing that they've made, is clearly a really impressive video generation AI tool that is both going to fool people and also be very useful. There's also a watermark in the bottom corner of every video generated by it. So if you see one of those videos and ideally it hasn't been cropped out, then that's at least a pretty clear indicator that it's AI generated. It's a Sora video. But I do think they're going to have to be very careful with this. They're going to have a whole bunch of safety stuff to keep in mind. I think they'll probably have to be even more safe than DALL-E. Like, you shouldn't be able to generate people's likenesses. Like, you shouldn't be able to make a politician look like they're...
Yeah, I think it's just dumb. Guys, I know I have only bad takes of this chat, but here's even the worst take. It has to be broken, sorry. Guys, it has to be.
Doing something on video.
It has to be.
Especially this year. You probably won't be able to make Will Smith eating spaghetti, but it also definitely means stock video generation is absolutely going to take a dent.
Because the more you avoid it, the stronger the impact will when it is in a certain way, and then it'll be targeted. If it's like a big break, everything knows, okay, this is broken, goes crazy. What happens if it doesn't break, and one like entity or like group of people break it and they do what they want with it and then they go massive with it. Like, dude.
And out of video licensing. Like, I can basically guarantee that. Like, logistically, why would anyone making something pay for footage of a house in the cliffs when they can generate one for free or for a small subscription price? Like, that is the real scary part of what this tool implies. But in the future, it gets pretty existential, man. I mean, okay, if this is trained on all videos that have ever been made by humans, then surely it can't be innovative.
So why is it only certain people that are able to create this AI shit then? Why is it not a bunch of people that are making their own AI or whatever? Is it that hard to make? Because if some guys are making AI video shit and you release it ahead of this with no safety, fuck it, boom, boom. Oh, these are big GPU scale. Oh, it needs big GPU scale. OpenAI CEO Sam thinks it was $7 trillion for new AI chip. Chat. Guys, chat. How do we not know that this is not the best computed AI scam to pull off? What if they didn't say there's like it's some AI, right? That computes fucking human psychology and asks, how can I get the most out of this project and the government or some shit? And what do I do to pull the biggest exit scam of all time? And AI goes, and it says, 7 trillion for AI chip, boom, and he pulls it off. And it actually works. Thoughts? It's the AI heist.